Welcome, horror fam, to HHN 365, the Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike, and I'm here with my co-host Duff.
Hey, guys.
And our producer, Nico.
Hey, howdy, hey.
Ooh.
Howdy, hey.
That one
Howdy, hey. Yeah. A little bit of phlegm in the throat there. Try to get past that.
As always, you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at HHN365, and you can always leave us a voicemail at 407-906-3405. On today's show, in honor of the Academy Awards this weekend, we're going to try to see if we can build an HHN event solely out of Oscar-nominated films. But before we get to that, Duff, is there any news or rumors?
There are. Well, it's something we talked about multiple times, most recently a couple weeks ago, and that's that we're pretty confident that Halloween 3 Season of the Witch will be a house at Hollywood this year. And we just had a little bit more proof from a picture that was shared. This time, not only do we see the Silver Shamrock logo, we see a sign that says Silver Shamrock Novelties with the logo. I think that pretty much pins what this house is like without question.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for our listeners and for Nico, do you want to kind of explain how Silver Shamrock Novelties ties into?
Yeah, of course. Nico always could use a little helping hand with these things. I understand that. So the Silver Shamrock is basically the basis of this entire movie, where they have the 3 Halloween masks that they're selling. That kind of, I won't spoil it too much, but it's behind their...
You can spoil a 40-year-old movie, man.
It's behind their master plan. But the Silver Shamrock is where those masks are produced, and those masks are like the main part of this movie. There's a jingly tune that comes along with the mask. It's fantastic.
They're the big evil corporation behind the whole thing.
What movie are we talking about?
Wait, what?
You said movie.
I established this beforehand.
Halloween 3 Season.
Oh, Halloween 3. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
The Halloween that does not feature Michael Myers at all.
Oh, darn.
The one that almost ruined the franchise.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. At the time, yeah, but it's a good movie to be honest.
I mean, yeah, it's
I liked
fun. It's fun.
I like it, but obviously the crowds wanted Michael Myers and not anything without him. So you know what? I like that we got a one-off. That was cool, but it went back to the way it should be. And then also
horror movies. I like horror movies that are very like set on Halloween night, like very Halloween.
Yeah. And
horror movies. And this one, this is this to a T. Like,
and then before I forget, I do want to give credit. Mr. Period Scary Dre on Instagram is the one who shared the photo of the Silver Shamrock novelty sign.
Yeah. So good on you, Mr. Period Scary Dre. Did I get that right?
Yeah, you did. But the way you said Mr., like Mr. I don't know.
Mr.
Mr.
Anyway, no. Yeah. So anything else?
That's all. I think just more confirmation that we're getting that house in Hollywood. Actually, there is one more thing. Speaking of Hollywood, so it's something that couldn't be talked about until it was shared publicly. And it has been shared publicly now, in that there was a survey sent out to I don't know if it was just Universal Hollywood or specifically HHN Hollywood guest previously, but there was email sent out about surveys for Hollywood at HHN this year, and they specifically state there will be 6 houses and a tram tour.
Hey,
there we go.
So I was about to ask could make its return.
Yeah, if Season of the Witch was going to be the only one that it looks like. For a little bit there, apparently it was going to be just that one, right?
Yep. And I believe those started going out not too long after the spec map.
Gotcha. Basically, yeah. Good.
But yeah, it was like a confidentiality thing that I've never seen. I've seen like all the details of it. And like, I've never seen a survey say, keep this confidential more than this one did. But now it's been shared all over Twitter. So many people have seen it. So that's where I saw it too, on Twitter from pictures.
So people definitely didn't follow the rules on that.
Correct.
Survey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder if they like purposely like put in like a misspelling, or they make a page look very like similar on purpose. to what other people got in their surveys. So like they know never to send that person a survey again.
Oh,
So
Possibly.
like what they do with your printer. So
Yeah,
like,
I wonder if
you
there's like
print like a ransom letter, there's like something to do to link it to like your exact.
Yeah,
printer?
like if X amount of people get one that says like, would you like to see these 4 houses and they're listed in a certain order, or do you want to see these 4 houses and like they're listed in a different order, and they can try to pinpoint like who gets who in that case. I don't know. I'm just spitballing to think like, because I'm pretty sure Universal wants to cut down on them leaking those surveys as much as possible, but
I mean,
They go
also,
out to like thousands of people.
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah.
It would be very hard
it
to
has
like
to be.
come up with some sort of proprietary way they list them that they could figure it out. It went to John Smith at yahoo.com.
And like,
Comcast is a big company; they can do it.
if they really wouldn't want to be shared, would they have put that information in the email or in the survey?
True.
Right.
Good
Like
point.
they like
Very
blatantly state how many houses and Terra Tram. So, just really interesting that you act like you want to keep it so private, but you put it on there for everyone to see. Just,
How did they phrase it? They just like straight up said like this year's event will have this.
So
like,
basically,
how do you feel about that?
I believe it pitched it that way because it was going into like, so how much would you pay for this?
Right.
For
If-
these different ticket experiences, if this was the house, like this will be the house situation. Here's other factors of it. What would you pay for this whole package? Kind of deal.
Okay. So they're trying to figure out what would the price point would be.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
And they have to be like, if 6 houses, a couple of zones, and a Terra Tram, what would you consider a fair price? Okay, that makes sense. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what it's going to be, but they're trying to feel it out.
I will say they didn't say if. They said it will have. So they were very blatantly saying this is what we're doing. And honestly, I would not be surprised if it was kind of not retaliation, but just wanting to get out that they're not going to have the 2 houses only, like the spec map said.
Right. Do you think that they're meant to like be like, no, we're actually having an event this year?
Yeah, I think they probably
It's not
wanted
gonna be a light.
Exactly. I think they wanted that to get out probably. And I think that's probably what that was for.
Yeah. To basically cut down on the rumor that there wasn't, they were not holding an event. But have they officially announced event over there yet?
Nope.
Unlike here where we have had.
And I'd say that's the thing, because if you want to kind of like calm everyone's nerves about the spec map that just got put out, and you haven't announced the event yet, like you can't just go out there and flat out say that's wrong or anything, right?
Right.
So what's the best way to do it? Throw it on a survey, because just in case. What would you like?
Right. And
you
definitely put don't link this.
Right.
Wink, wink.
Right. Everything was an if except for that one part was like a definitive statement from them. So
right.
I mean, just saying, it sounds like it was kind of a clap back at the spec map.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, that's about wraps up all the news and rumors. Let's hop right into the main segment. So, as I said earlier, we wanted for fun in honor of the Academy Awards this weekend. We're big movie buffs. So if you couldn't tell, we talk about it all the time. We wanted to see if we, for fun, if we limited it to only Oscar-nominated movies, could we make a fun Halloween Horror Night event, knowing that horror movies really don't get nominated by Oscars very often. They're often snubbed. It's kind of a running joke that it will probably, if you're making a horror movie, it probably will not get a nomination unless it's, something big and cultural event like Get Out or something like that.
And even the ones that do get nominated, a lot of them have already been used by Horror Nights, and we kind of decided not to do the ones that have already been to Horror Nights, just to make it a little more fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun to pitch.
Yeah,
it's not fun to pitch why The Exorcist should go to Horror Nights. First of all, obviously, you know why.
Right.
Second, it's been there. So do we need to pitch it?
Right. So what I think we each came up with like 5 horror or horror adjacent properties that we want to kind of pitch to the group, and we are going to try to, as to get together, figure out where it will go into a house, a zone, or a show. And we each, I decided, just to be safe, just in case Nico tries to pitch something like Singing in the Rain or something, that we can veto it, and so we each have one veto that it will not enter the.
I would say I trust you guys, and I don't plan on using it, so don't make me go back on that.
Yeah, but it's in our back pocket.
I do not have anything. I might have like one film that y'all might consider to be a little bit of a stretch.
I mean, I know you will. I'm just hoping it'll work.
But it's like not done as a joke. Like I have serious reasons behind these. Yeah, I didn't like go and put Crash as you said earlier.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it also, I think we all try to, for the most part, try to steer clear of anything that is kind of controversial or deals with heavy subjects that we don't necessarily want to talk about on the podcast or joke about, because we're a very jokey podcast. So we don't want to bring anything that feels like we're being a little too jovial about, a subject that it has some serious tones to it. So
yeah,
I know, like, I'm sure there are a few things that we may have missed, but for the most part, we tried to do that while looking at this list.
Mm-hmm.
And one other thing I wanted to preface this by is, before you start typing up on Twitter, yes, I know that none of these are going to ever be at the event. This is all for fun.
Hey, whoa. I think I have one. It's not likely for reasons that I might talk about soon, but it would make sense. It would actually make a lot of sense, and I could see it potentially happening.
Yeah, I mean, all of mine could like make sense for a reason. Like, that's what I looked at this list. Like, I kind of specifically wanted the ones that I could like made sense, but I know would never happen. Like, and I settled more for that than ones that like, this might happen, but it's not as fun to pitch something that might happen. I went with I went a little outside of the box as well. Probably not as far as Nico did, but I went a little out.
There's no way. How many overlaps you guys think we're going to have?
I think one each. I think I will have one each. Nico, just knowing Nico, and I think Nico may have mentioned this property as well in something we've ever done before. And then I think Duff will have one as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Who wants to kick it off?
Sure. And then I have some honorable mentions, but we'll leave those to the end because I might have to fill them in as well.
Yeah.
So, I will kick it off. So I did a kind of a top 5. I'm going to start with 5 and move to 1. My 5th one is one that I've actually, if you've listened to the Scream Queens one, I don't believe I mentioned on this show, but if you listen to the one where we were pitching properties with the Scream Queens on their show, I believe I did mention this property. This property was nominated 6 times and won 4. It was won the best sound editing, best makeup, and best visual effects. And then it lost best film editing and best cinematography. It came out in 1991. I am talking about Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh,
yeah, baby.
Hell yeah. Great choice.
What do you guys think? I think this could work probably as all 3, house, a zone, or a show. I think ideally this would be a great house, but it could work as any of them. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it could work as any, but as a house, just imagine the sets in that bad boy. Oh,
it would definitely go in a soundstage, I would say.
The lighting packages and the lasers that would be involved in that shit. Oh, God.
And hearing the pounding of the theme track. Dun, 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 dun.
As you're waiting in the fucking hallway. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that was fun with my list, that all of the things that it was either nominated or won for, like for the movie, is the reason why I think it would make a great house. So, like I said, it was nominated for sound editing, makeup, and visual effects. Those are the things that I think would really make this house. Like, can you imagine the sound and the makeup and the special effects? It would be awesome.
It's a great way to start off this list. Yeah,
Can you imagine
for that for a house?
Being in a house and getting like hit out of a boo hole by like a massive T-1000?
I want to. I want this to happen. But yes. So we want to slot this into a house for now. We can move it around, but just want to be our first house.
Yeah, I like that for house.
Definitely house. Definitely house.
All right. Who wants to go next?
I guess I can. What do I want to start with? I'll start. Also, I said T-1000. I meant T-100. T-100 would not be nearly as impressive, or T-1000 would not be as impressive or massive. Anyways, so I'm going to start with 1986's The Fly, which did win Best Makeup. And honestly, I just want it for kind of that reason, the makeup. I think The Fly itself would make for a great creature to see within. I kind of want to lean towards a house for it. I don't know if the movie itself lends itself fully for a house, but I think they could make it work.
Well, there it is. There is our first overlap. That is my number 3.
Oh, wow.
On my list. Again, yeah, it's was nominated once and won once. It won Best Makeup, and I think that's exactly why I think would be an amazing house.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this also as a scare zone as well. Because of the recognizable characters. And of course, Duff, you would love to have a walk around Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, I didn't pick this because it's a Jeff Goldblum film at all. Had no reason behind my choice.
Are we going to get any Eric Stoltzes, or are we just going for The Fly? Are we going to do The Fly too?
Nope. Keep it straight up.
Just keep straight. Just do The Fly. Maybe it'll come back for a sequel, but that's not an Oscar nominated film.
That's true. So it doesn't belong in this event. I see. The reason I'd say house also is because getting the Fly to be like a walk around character in a scare zone sounds a little bit tougher than doing it in a house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think some
might have to be a puppet or like a half puppet at least.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it would be hard to kind of portray the movie well. I mean, it would work in a scare zone, but I think it would work better but in a house.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So let's slot it into a house. We might have to move it around, but I think it makes a house.
Sounds good. House for now.
House for now.
All right, Nico, you're up.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with a Universal classic that was all of mine are Best Picture, either winners or nominations. This
big.
one, yeah. So I was like trying to like challenge myself and be like, oh, what would be this one? And it'd also be pretty much movies that almost anybody would know. So I went with the Universal classic, 1975's Jaws, a Jaws house.
There we go. My number 1.
Oh no, that's our overlap.
Yeah, I knew there would be 2 overlaps.
No.
Well, we have to go straight to my honorable mentions. They're not as good.
So this could work. I mean, you definitely think house for something like this, but this could also work for like a scare zone. I could see. I'm not quite sure how that would go. You'd have to have like a lot of fog, maybe like low fog down, and you have like actors pop up out of there. That's kind of like what I'm thinking of is like just water scenes where you're going through, and you have them pop up above the laser in the fog that kind of creates like the depth of the water. Have them pop up out of there. But I just think it would be awesome to have a Universal thriller in there, like one of their more and it's weird calling this a modern thriller, but
yeah, Nico, I totally agree. So just for fun, it was nominated 4 times. It won 3. It was nominated for sound, film editing, and score, and it lost to Best Picture. But Nico, I think I'm going to pitch this as a show. I think Jaws Lagoon show.
Oh, hello there.
Absolute. That's why I don't think it would work as a house or a zone. So I almost didn't do it, but then I thought, no, I'm going to leave this on here and I'm going to pitch it hard as a show and see if it would be the big, spectacular kind of lagoon style show themed around Jaws. So we get Jaws finally back in the Universal Parks as a marquee lagoon show, basically going through the years of Jaws. So we get kind of all of it.
I love it.
Do like binaural audio. You could have the audio like chase around the lagoon, like do the John Williams score as it goes around the lagoon, like that. Oh man, incredible! That's a great idea.
I love that.
Think about
That's
that.
perfect because I think Jaws is something everyone would love to see at Horror Nights, but no one even brings it up for discussion because how do you make that a house? How do you make that like a good house that represents that film? Oh, well, doesn't need to be a house. A lagoon show. I love it. Slot it in.
Cool. All right. Well, we got our one show. We might get 2, but we have at least one show for our event.
Yeah.
All right. Is it back to me?
Yeah, it's back around to you.
All right. Well, I don't have many left, but I'm gonna go with the. This film came out in 1999, and it was nominated 3 times, but it just won for art direction. It lost cinematography and costume design. That is Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. I think this would work as a scare zone. Actually, I think probably best as a scare zone. Probably in like something like Central Park. I think, or kind of expanding into a little bit of Hollywood as well. How they've done in the past with like some of the other scare zones, where you kind of start building some things that kind of blend into the Central Park to kind of build the town. I think Sleepy Hollow would be a really fun scare zone.
I think that is actually the perfect scare zone.
Yes. Now, I believe this is probably not going to become one. Is because doesn't is this a Buena Vista picture? I might be wrong. One of the ones I looked into was a Buena Vista picture.
Off the top of my head, I would not know.
Well, and it doesn't matter because none of these will come. But yeah, I think it would be a good scare zone.
Are we gonna get? What if this was in? I feel like it probably needs more space, but if it was in Central Park.
Yeah, no, that's what I think. I think it would go perfect in Central Park. Yeah, and then I think you could even expand out a little bit and build up some of the town there. And then you get like the weird, creepy witch, and then you can have a bunch of kind of like gory kind of set pieces of the headless horseman's kills kind of throughout the scare zone.
Well, I would say you're probably not going to have enough space to take Not So Scary's headless horseman ride.
No, he would probably stay outside of like in that Hollywood, kind of where where the parade floats come out. He would probably come out from that gate there, the esoteric gate, and do like a ride, like in and then out. Like you would probably have to have 4 or 5 different ones, different horses, obviously, throughout the night. But he would be featured in it quite often because he would just kind of come out and in. You would have to have a pooper scooper, obviously.
Unfortunately, not the most realistic thing, but it doesn't matter. This is our HHN.
It doesn't matter. It does not matter. None of mine are realistic.
Jaws is the most realistic, I think. That of anything that's most likely to come, I think a Jaws Lagoon show would be.
Yeah, I mean, probably not either, but it would be really cool. All right, who's Duff? You're up next.
I am up next, and I think the next one I'm going to go with, pretty recent. It was nominated 6 times. It did win 4 Academy Awards, and that was in 2020. It was my favorite film of 2019, and that's Parasite.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
good choice.
Yeah, I thought this might come up.
Yeah, it's obviously not something you'd anticipate directly to be a house. I think it only works as a house, probably. It has a lot of memorable sets. The kitchen, and we're talking about the, oh God, the name. The rich people's house. The kitchen, the living room, the backyard, all could be separate scenes, all very memorable. The basement, of course. If you could include like the flood scene too, of their house or apartment or whatever it may be called, flooding, that would work out great. And I think, it just kind of has that really like tense thriller feel that can work well in a house.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It would never would, but none of these will.
No.
Do we slot it into a house?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Let's do it. Yeah, I don't think it would work as anything else. I think as kind of just like a storytelling style house with jump scares just being kind of characters interacting with each other and stuff like that. I think it could work.
I think it could have a very similar vibe to Us.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Without the slasher element where there's those characters have a bit of a slasher vibe. The Parasite would probably not, but it still have that same kind of.
Yep.
All right. You're up, Nika.
Alrighty. So we're going to stay in the 70s for this one. We're going to actually go back one more year from Jaws. We're going to go to a 8 nominated. This movie was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, won 3 of them, was nominated for Best Picture in 1974. And that is 20th Century Fox's The Towering Inferno.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought, because the way I'm trying to think of what would I like to see done as a house? I think if you do a disaster films, and I think one of the best ones that you can do for a house would be Towering Inferno, where you're going through and it's on fire. I really liked Yeti last year, and that's probably the only frame of reference that I have, because it's so elemental, and it kind of something is falling apart while you're going through. At least that's what I get out of it. So something like the Towering Inferno, where you have everything's going to shit because the whole thing is there. You have flames all over the place. I think this would work out really well as a scary house without being a super horror house. So
yeah,
I like it. Yeah. I like the direction you took there.
Yeah, I don't think it would work as a scare zone. I could see it potentially as a Fear Factor live stage show, a stunt show almost. Wouldn't necessarily be very Halloween themed, but I could potentially see a Towering Inferno themed stunt show, potentially.
Yeah.
I would say trying to avoid putting in a second show already. I think it maybe Scare Zone would be the best slot for it.
You think Scare Zone?
Or Towering Inferno?
You mean
as the building has already fallen?
I'm sorry, House.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this would work well at HHN Hollywood, since they can just use the backdraft.
All right. Yeah, I guess it's slotted into a house.
All right. What a weird list we have to do for T2, The Fly, Parasite, and The Towering Inferno.
Yeah, people are really typing on their keyboards. Well, a lot of my straightforward horror themed ones were on my honorable mentions, which I'm gonna have to dip into. So I think we'll get some horror coming up shortly. So.
I'm probably leaning further away as I go, but that's okay.
Am I up next?
You are.
Mhm.
All right. Well, I got my last of the list that has not been mentioned before I dip into my honorable mentions and kind of pitch those to you. This one is was nominated once and won once. It only won Best Visual Effects, and that is the cult classic. It was actually kind of a box office bomb, but it is kind of lived on now as a cult classic, and that is the black comedy film Death Becomes Her. Are you familiar with Death Becomes Her?
I am not.
I've heard the title.
It so if you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like it would have very Ghostbuster and kind of Beetlejuice vibes. You're gonna get a lot of like special effects. Basically, the story is like, without getting too much into it, but there's like kind of two women who are kind of like rivals, and they're both kind of pining after Bruce Willis and Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn, and there's magic involved, and someone drinks like a magic potion that makes her so she can't die, and she constantly starts dying through the film, and then they both are kind of dying, and then they just kind of like, there's a lot of like visual gags of like her neck getting stretched way far and like getting pushed down, and like a hole getting punched through one of them. So there would be like it would be almost, I would say, would work really well as kind of a storytelling house, very similar to with Ghostbusters and Beetlejuice. It would also have some hot house element. Yeah,
there you go, Nico.
Absolutely. Now that you described it, I was like, I've seen this movie, and of course I've seen it. I always forget this. Like when Bobby Z makes a movie, I usually like. Well,
oh yeah.
I like about half of his stuff.
It is Robert Zemeckis' follow-up to Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit was Death Becomes Her.
Yeah, it was. And I would say it would probably have like a kind of if it did come to the event, it would have kind of a cult following the same way, kind of like Vanity Ball. It is for whatever reason kind of taken on an LGBT type of cult following. This film.
I gotta say, I looked into it while you were talking since I hadn't no idea about it, and I'm very intrigued. You had already said the cast strong. Robert Zemeckis, the director, composed by Alan Silvestri. I like that. Screenplay by David Koepp. I like that. It's a Universal film, so they can get the rights as easy as they'd like. Also, just like, I mean, that sounds like a movie that I enjoy, so I'll be watching that.
Did you watch the YouTube video Meryl Streep falling down the stairs for 1 hour?
I don't believe so.
Someone has taken a scene of Meryl Streep getting pushed down the stairs and has made it in just a 1 hour loop.
Don't need to see that.
It's actually quite hilarious.
I might need to watch that.
That's basically the gag of the movie. It's like Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn getting maimed in a bunch of crazy ways, to be honest with you.
Sounds enjoyable enough.
Yeah. It would have definitely like a Beetlejuice Ghostbustery type vibe if it ever came to the event.
You know, just without the fanfare.
What do you without like the
rabid existing fan base?
Yes. I mean, it does have a very big cult following.
Does it? Huh.
It does.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, not on a Beetlejuice level or anything, but
obviously
Death Becomes Her is.
They were even considering bringing it to Broadway.
Yes, it actually, Kristen Chenoweth announced that she was going to be in it in 2017, and I believe it's still in the works, so it is coming to Broadway.
Like lots of Broadway right now, it's in the works. Where are we sliding this into?
I think it only works as a house. I mean, potentially a show, but yeah. I
think I'll probably have to take your word for that.
I guess it could work as a scare zone if you just had like some really like some like really cool like prosthetics and things built around, like just kind of roaming, but they're not really jump scary type of people, so it wouldn't really necessarily work as a scare zone.
Okay.
I would think it would have to be kind of like Beetlejuice, where the jump scares are more just like, hey, oh, I'm in the room, like I'm not jumping out at you, but I'm here in the room and I'm startling you by saying my sound cue, like that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. It could work.
All right. Let's move on to Duff's next one.
So the next one I'm going to go with, I think this is probably my most out there one. In 2014, it was nominated for 10 Academy Awards. It won 7 of those. That is Gravity.
Okay.
So I'll be completely honest.
Ah.
I don't know exactly how you make it work as a house, but I think it hits a lot of phobias and can make a lot of people uncomfortable. Again, how you translate that to a house, I don't know. I love when they integrate like space themes into the event. So obviously that's a factor for me. And just like the isolation and darkness that can be involved. I think there's a lot of elements that would work. Unfortunately, I don't get paid to put those together and make it a fun house. So that's as far as I can go right now.
I could see Gravity. I almost put that on my list, but I was like, I don't know how I would be able to explain how that works, but I can totally see where you're coming from with that.
To me, it kind of feels like a little bit of like Depths of Fear, but without the monster. Like you just like.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like it would be a lot more. Like Depths of Fear was a lot of flashing lights and noises, like really loud noises and sirens, and Gravity would be a lot less of that.
Would all the jump scares be George Clooney just reappearing? Hey.
Sure, why not? But I think if it happened, it only works as a house. No other way to pull it off.
All right.
Alrighty. Let's keep moving, Nico.
All right. Mine, I think would work best. My next one is a house that it wouldn't be a house. It'd actually be a scare zone is how I'm going to pitch this one. It is going to be 1971's. Let me see. I forgot what awards. It's nominated for 4 awards. Didn't win any, unfortunately, but it was nominated for Best Picture and Best Director. It is A Clockwork Orange.
Okay.
And I believe this would work well as a scare zone because you could have all the droogs, like his little gang that he runs around with, that Alex likes to do, running around, just causing mayhem in the streets. I think this could work out really well as a scare zone.
I agree. It was one of my honorable mentions.
Oh, nice. Very, very creepy. A film that definitely puts you on edge. That I think anything Kubrick kind of like teeters the line between like horror and thriller, and kind of gets you on edge no matter what. So really, you could have put in any Kubrick film here, but I think the easy layup here is A Clockwork Orange.
So no, do you put it in New York and then you turn Finnegan's into Milk Bar?
Oh yeah,
just, like, convert
exactly.
it in.
Ooh.
Exactly. You integrate all that together. Of course, you have the guy in the chair scene. I mean, you got to have that where they're holding his eyeballs open.
Nico, did we ever tell you when we went to Denver, we almost went to a bar called a Milk Bar that is like a bar themed around A Clockwork Orange?
No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, we didn't end up making it.
Why didn't we make it?
We were
just
so
run out of time?
You were high. You were high, probably.
Yeah.
that too.
I like it though. Good option. I would not have gone there, but it works perfect.
Awesome.
Especially,
right, and we actually have a scare zone now.
Right? Look at that.
Well, we had Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
So we have 2. So where do we stand? We have
we have
1 show, 2 scare zones, and how many houses?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 houses.
6 houses.
All
Okay.
right.
My next one's going to be a scare zone. So,
All right. So the way I'm going to do mine, I'm just going to kind of throw out the rest of my honorable mentions that have not been listed, and I'm just going to kind of rapid fire them, just kind of how I have them, and then let you guys kind of see what you think. So for my rest of my honorable mentions, I have The Sixth Sense. I have Silence of the Lambs, Misery, and The Lighthouse from 2019.
Well, I guess you can use Sixth Sense, or save it for me, whatever you prefer. But yeah, that's an overlap with us.
Okay, so you have an overlap. Oh, so we actually have 2 overlaps.
So I guess we can just. You want to just use all those since you already brought them up?
We don't have to use all of them. I don't think we only need 10, right? Let's save Sixth Sense, and of the ones that don't overlap, let's pick one of those 3.
Okay.
Misery, Silence of the Lambs, or the Light.
Oh, I missed Misery. Okay, gotcha.
I think Misery. As much as I'd love
Really?
to see a Lighthouse one, I think Misery.
I'd say Lighthouse just because hearing the scare actors yelling that like completely ridiculous accent would be hilarious.
Bill the Banes.
I think it would have to work as a scare zone, because I think you could just put it right into that San Francisco area. You build like a fake lighthouse there, and you just kind of put like kind of show scenes around the scare zone. Kind of the ending scene with the crows, and some of the iconic scenes. You kind of put those throughout the scare zone.
I like it as a scare zone.
I mean, the only reason my case for Misery as a house is because I just want to see the scene of her breaking the foot. I think that would work so well as like a set piece in a house. Like that'd be the thing you remember. Like they would so be able to like do that.
Yeah, that one would
destroys the foot. Yeah, like that's what you build up to.
Okay.
It would be just like ultimately it would be kind of the ultimate, and you would have to kind of poltergeist it a little bit. I think you would have to change the story a little bit to kind of make it more of like you would have to make her jump out at you at times where it does not happen in the movie, just to kind of build kind of some, but I think it could work. Basically telling that story.
I would also say, while I would love to see the lighthouse, it doesn't really provide much content, even for a scare zone.
No, it's
be
definitely
tough. It'd be real tough.
No, that one was my I've loved the movie, but it's not necessarily. It's more of a visual pleasing thing. It was nominated for best cinematography, and I think that black and white vibe that they pulled off before, I think would be cool to try to bring back again, especially. But you would have to kind of take the ball and run with it a little bit on that one too.
So, Misery, I guess, as a house.
Sure.
All right.
And Silence of the Lambs, you kind of know what you're getting in that one. We don't.
Yeah, like they said Father Beans.
Put the lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
For my next one, well, I guess I'll just go with The Sixth Sense since we already established that is one of mine. I think it only works as a house. To be honest, I don't see how it fits in as a scare zone or a show for that matter. To keep the stats up, it was nominated for 6 Academy Awards and won none of them back in 2000. So this is my only one that didn't actually win an Academy Award. I think I picked it just because its vibe fits what you could do with an HHN house more than a lot of other options I saw. So, I just kind of went with it, to be honest. And then you get the iconic catchphrase, so everyone would be very pleased with that.
I think there's a lot of really iconic scenes that could be pulled off well in a house.
Yeah.
And you also could have I think it would be, of all the houses that we've listed, the scariest for some people, just because how moody that movie is, and you can actually have jump scares there.
Yeah, that's true.
It is the most traditional haunted house, almost kind of like Haunting of Hill House. I predict it to be. You could potentially pull something off like that with The Sixth Sense.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's why I went with it. I almost don't want to nominate it for a house, but it works so well. It makes so much sense. So here it is.
Yeah.
Nico,
right.
Any thoughts?
You know what? To be honest, I've only seen it once for there, so I'm not quite sure how that. I mean, the I see dead people thing. Of course, you're going to hear that in a house there.
Yep.
Yeah, but like you're right. It's so moody that it wouldn't work as anything but a house.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they could do like some cool like Pepper's Ghost effect with Bruce Willis's character where he's not actually there. Or
That'd be cool.
like that.
Just imagine how many I See Dead People shirts they would sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You would sell. I honestly think it would be a pretty popular house.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. It's just something that wouldn't excite me. So it's weird that I chose it.
Yeah.
But, that's why I chose it, because it would work well.
I think it would excite me a little less than Haunting of Hill House excites me, but I think it excites me on the same level as Haunting of Hill House. I'd like to see how they pull off some of those scenes and scares. I think it would work.
I just don't personally love the movie. It's just not for me. So that's why I'm kind of lower on it.
All right. Nico, do you have two more?
I do have two more, and I'm actually going to do my next one because we're running out of house spaces. I want to go ahead and get one in another one in its house, because I know my last one is one that
work
here.
So okay,
this is going to be the biggest stretch for me.
Okay.
Oh boy.
I might have to pull up my veto.
the reason I'm doing this, it was nominated. This came out in 2015. Nominated for 5 Academy Awards. It won Best Film Editing and Best Sound Mixing and Best Supporting Actor. I think this movie is very scary because I believe people like this exist, and that is Whiplash. Whiplash makes me feel very uncomfortable, and I think would work really cool as a house because you can just take the different scenes from there. You can have just like drums going all the time and jazz as you're like jazz that's just slightly off tempo to get you on edge as you're walking through. And all you hear is, someone trying to be like J.K. Simmons, just yelling throughout the house and screaming and putting you on edge. And you could even do like the car wreck scene, like have a car like, because in Atlanta at Netherworld, they had kind of like a scene where you're walking and a semi truck would come up and like hit a gate that you were walking next to.
Okay.
So I think you could do an effect like that for the car accident that happens like towards the middle of the movie. But yeah, I think it would be worked really well as like a sensory house with just a bunch of like yelling and just tense scares. So
Now,
it is my biggest stretch, but I think it could work. I mean, it would never happen, but
much like Misery, doesn't this all kind of happen in one room for most of the movie? I think that was my
well, you can have their practice room, and then another set piece would be, the car accident halfway through, and then the end scene when he like finally wins. But spoiler alert for Whiplash. But I yeah, you're right. It was hard there, but it's just that this movie makes me feel so creepy. Like I would like to have that feeling again in a Halloween Horror Nights house. So I think that's kind of what I'm going for something like this. So
okay, I get it.
Yeah, I would say it's about as less outlandish as some of our others. So I'm not going to pull up my veto. It's not necessarily my cup of tea. But this is all tongue in cheek anyway. So yeah, sure. Whiplash.
For personal reasons, I would love to veto this, but you pitched it well, so I'm going to let you have it.
Yeah, Whiplash.
You describing it? Oh,
it.
it like the whole sensory overload thing, and just like houses that just like their thing is that I'm loud. I don't enjoy them. They're not fun. They occasionally give me a headache. They're not scary. They're just unenjoyable. So I feel like I would not like the house at all. But that's scary for a lot of people. It would make a lot of people uncomfortable. So
jazz drumming over and over.
Jazz drumming and white men yelling.
It'd be it'd be a house I would hate a lot, but maybe it would make other people uncomfortable. So
bloody knuckles.
Bloody knuckles. I just really want to hear someone yell "father fucking" in an HHN house. All right.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily a fan of that film either.
Oh, y'all didn't like Whiplash? Oh, I love it. Oh, I am a big Whiplash fan. I love that movie.
Oh, well, learn something new every day.
At least you didn't pitch La La Land. That's a
no. Or Singing in the Rain. Singing in the Rain would have been funny though.
Duff, you have what? One more, two more?
I have one more.
Okay, and then Nico would have one more after that.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you not have one more?
I did all my honorable mentions at once. So
wait, what's the board look like? What do we have left?
All right, so we only have 2 scare zones: Sleepy Hollow and A Clockwork Orange. We have our Lagoon Show, Jaws, and for houses we have T2, The Fly, Parasite, Towering Inferno, Death Becomes Her, Gravity, Misery, Sixth Sense, and Whiplash.
So our houses are full?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 houses.
Okay. So we have a house and 3 scare zones to fill with our 2 selections.
We could use potentially Silence of the Lambs or The Lighthouse.
No, we're not using Silence of the Lambs.
And I have some backups too.
Silence of the Lambs depicts things that I know many people are against ever seeing in Horror Nights house that I understand. So I won't subject our fake event to that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so I guess I'll pitch my next one. I think I could kind of go as either a house or a scare zone. For certain elements, I would like to go into a house, and that would be the movie that was nominated for 7 Academy Awards. It won 2 of them in 1997, and that is Fargo.
Oh, that's on my honorable mentions.
Hey, look at that. So I guess
one of my favorite movies.
Great. I think it could give you a like the elements could give you kind of like a Terror or Yeti Terror of the Yukon kind of feel to walking through a house if you did it that way. I guess you could kind of make snowy streets if you did a scare zone. I don't know if that would be great, but sure, why not? Because we kind of need more scare zones. But yeah, I think it's just it's tense, and it has just elements that would make it a creepy, fun walkthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it would. I actually had this pitched as a scare zone. Because it, walking with like the wilderness and just people would love to see like the wood chipper just going in and out. That'd be such a good Instagram spot. Think about like Fargo would be really big for the Instagram crowd and like the social media crowd. And I bet you people would love to get like a picture next to the wood chipper that is constantly, pushing body parts through.
It's been popular in the past at the event.
Okay, so hear me out. Can we just have a Coen Brothers scare zone where we get to like Old Man, you get maybe like Barton Fink, you get some Hudsucker Proxy, you get them all in there.
And then a stage show every once in a while.
No Country
for Old Man now
would actually work. I think that's the only one that would maybe kind of work.
Yeah, let's stick with Fargo. Sounds good. But yeah, let's do it as a scare zone. 1, I like the way you pitched that as a scare zone. 2, we need scare zones badly.
Yeah. All right, so we have that as a scare zone. All right, and then my final one is also a scare zone. Fittingly enough, we have here. Was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Supporting Actor, but it didn't win any of those. But it did win Best Cinematography and Best Sound in 1979. And here we are to add a little mood to here. Let's get this going. Since this is the last house. All right, this did not start as quickly as I thought it would. My bad. All right, this joke's not landing. All right, this is Apocalypse Now. I'm trying to get the doors.
I could not hear what you were playing.
Yeah, neither could I.
It's fine. It starts off slow. I completely forgot about that.
Now, okay. Now I'm starting to hear it.
I was trying to get it so where it would come in with the guitar a little bit earlier, because that's how Apocalypse Now starts. One of my favorite movies of all time, because I'm a white man in America. Apocalypse Now, I think would work extremely well as a scare zone. You can have the boat.
Can I throw the veto out like mid-sentence?
Sure.
Is it just like one of those things where it's like next date where you just pull it out? Like next. Unfortunately, Nico, I think this would be too problematic for our big event. The Vietnam War is not something that should be depicted in our fun Halloween Horror Night event.
I can understand that, and that's fine. I'm really more. It would be more about Marlon Brando's character in that, but I guess because of the overall theme of it.
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone would do like a war movie, because like they have done things like that in the past with like Nightingale's Blood Prey did really well. I was thinking someone might pitch like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. I was hoping that no one would say anything Vietnam War, like Full Metal Jacket or anything like that.
No, that would be too. Full Metal Jacket would be too.
1917.
1917 would probably be the only one that could probably work, but you're absolutely right, Mike, for that. Yeah, you're right. And I guess the slaughtering of the water buffalo would not work well at the event as well. Fantastic movie. If you have not seen Apocalypse Now, I highly recommend it. Watch any cut of it, the redo or the final cut. They're all good, in my opinion.
Well, do we want to give Nico another shot, or are we moving on from him now?
All right. Let me see if I have a backup here.
You just want to say A Quiet Place?
So I had this as a house. I had a backup on here. Well, technically, one of my backups was Alien, but since we already had an AVP house, I kind of would like that. But Alien is a complete, yeah, exactly. I think Alien is completely different, at least aesthetically, from AVP, especially just the first one, the Ridley Scott's Alien, which is also a fantastic movie. I think that would work extremely well at the event as either a scare zone or a house. We all have seen Xenomorphs, in there. We saw it at the very first event, and we saw them because they were in Dungeon of Fear, right? Or did I read that wrong?
What are you trying to say?
The Xenomorphs, the alien from Alien.
They were an Alien versus Predator.
Yeah, but I also, when I was checking to make sure that there wasn't one, it says there was Xenomorphs in Dungeon of Fear. Actually, that's what it says on the HHN wiki.
You mean Dungeon of Terror?
That too. It was in there as well.
Is he blending like?
Okay, I'm catching on here.
God damn it! I did it again.
Dungeons of Terror.
I did it again. Motherfucker! I thought I was being smart. I did it again. Y'all, all right.
There,
Alien.
a lot of those early houses were just like had a bunch of random stuff in it, so I would not be surprised if there were xenomorphs in somewhere in one of the Dungeon of Terrors. Yeah.
All right.
Alien, I think it would make a great house.
Yep.
I do. I think it would be a really cool house. It would be kind of like the Gravity house that Duff pitched, but with actual things that could jump out at you.
With things happening, yeah, pretty much.
You can have actual bungee scares.
Yeah,
can we actually Can we just make Gravity like an IMAX experience instead?
Okay. Okay. So you just basically like the Jimmy Fallon Theater is now just you go and watch like a 7-minute trailer of Gravity.
No, let's leave it as
uncomfortable.
Let's just leave it at everyone's least favorite house of the event. How about that?
Okay.
All right, cool. So we are done with houses now, correct? And we need 2 scare zones.
We
All
do.
right. Well, one of my other backups would not work. It was 1944's Gaslight. Which would work as like a thriller, where like the house would constantly be changing back and forth.
I have one.
Isn't Gaslight maybe a little too sensitive of a subject?
Well, yeah, the term came from that movie, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm saying like what the film is about. Is that something you want to base?
Yeah, the film is about domestic violence.
Yeah. I don't know if that'd be great for the event.
Yeah, I kind of suck at this, so it's all good.
What about Dr. and Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, 1941's? I believe that's when it came out.
Okay, let's do it.
As a scare zone.
That'd be great as a scare zone.
All right, that's all we gotta say. We found something great. So I did have another backup. The only problem is it's similar atmospherically or elementally, I guess would be the better term, to Fargo, and that's The Revenant.
Okay.
So I feel like they'd be very similar scare zones, and that wouldn't work too well. So I don't know if that's a good choice for us.
We just need one more.
Yeah.
What about something like The Omen?
As a scare zone, though?
Yeah, you're probably right. It doesn't really work.
Fuck it, Joker. There it is. We're done.
Joker.
Okay, there you go.
Hey!
We got it. What about, did Batman Returns get nominated for any? Because I think that would make an...
Not sure.
Oh, that'd be good.
I bet it did. I'm checking it real quick. You should have had more honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Or we only need 4 scare zones. It really doesn't matter. Our fake event there are no rules. Well, it's kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway. We're making this up as we go.
Yeah.
What if we just did a scare zone that's a bunch of people like shooting fake guns? The Departed. Boom.
Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, and then you could just have Shipping Him Up to Boston playing all the time today.
Would there be like a skanking pit where people you just have like a Flogging Molly concert? They would come out on the Blues Brothers stage and put on a show.
That'd be great. We're doing it.
Well,
Sold.
I mean, if we wanted cannibals, we could do "Call Me by Your Name," and that'd be kind of scary.
I knew you were going to make that joke. How did I know you were going
to? Hey.
You made that joke for one person, and that was one of our friends. I think we can be done with this, right?
Yep.
It was a good idea at first.
We filled it out.
We did it.
We did it.
Nailed it, guys.
So I think this definitely leads us to Academy, stop ignoring horror, please. Make this segment a lot easier for us next time.
Mm-hmm.
Batman Returns was nominated for Best Visual Effects and Best Makeup.
Well,
that makes
there
sense.
you go.
So we have
A Batman scare zone.
we have the Penguin and the Catwoman running around.
Hey, I can get behind that.
All right. Well, that was great. Great finish.
We're not going to put the list up on. We're going to make a spec map.
No.
No.
Just remember this, guys. Remember everything we said. So, Nico or Mike, you want to read it back to them so they can unfortunately remember what this event looks like?
Sure. Yeah, I've been writing it down. All right. So, all right. For houses, we had T2. We had The Fly. We had Parasite, Towering Inferno, Death Becomes Her, Gravity, Alien, Misery, Sixth Sense, and Whiplash. For scare zones, yeah, what a great! This is actually a great list of movies. Like I'd be so happy with it.
It started strong, and then it kind of
ended with Whiplash.
Went off the rails a little bit.
Scare zone would be Sleepy Hollow, A Clockwork Orange, Batman Forever, and what was the last scare zone that we wanted in here? Because mine was canceled.
I don't know. Which one did we choose?
Batman Returns.
I said Batman Returns. And Fargo. Fargo. That's right. Fargo. So we have 4 scare zones this year.
And then our fantastic show, which is definitely the highlight,
is Jaws.
Jaws. Yes.
This is the worst event ever.
I mean, we were limited. I'm sorry.
I like they were in the planning stages. They're like Apocalypse Now, and they built half of it, and they're like, no, we can't do this.
Can we do for our next show make a list of only Golden Raspberry Award winners?
Oh my god!
Only from films that have been nominated for a Golden.
That would be a better list than this, probably.
There'd be a lot more horror movies on it too.
Yeah. No promises. No promises.
Yeah, we'd have Roller Gator
was nominated for a Golden Raspberry.
What was nominated?
Blair Witch.
Oh.
That
makes total sense.
I googled the Blair Witch Project, seeing if it was nominated for Academy Award.
Oh, come on!
It was nominated for Golden Raspberry. I thought maybe it was nominated for film editing or something.
Thanks for being creative. Award.
You did it.
If we did Golden Raspberry, the Razzies also nominated Best Supporting Actor Danny DeVito in Batman Returns.
Oh man,
it actually could be on both.
We're gonna have a crossover.
Yeah. All right, we'll be looking forward for the Razzies.
Who's gonna be looking forward to that?
I know. Well, I will when I have to make the list. All right. Well, hopefully, next week we have some announcements to talk about,
or anything for that matter.
We're gonna have to come up with another silly game.
Yeah,
this was great. It started off real strong.
Are we gonna finally do our HHN or Quibi?
No, not yet. Not yet. We're holding off.
We're holding off.
Yeah.
You just leaked it, but yeah.
That'll be a double feature with the Dark Horizons episode.
We'll have to do it if there's ever another pandemic. We'll bring out the Quibi special.
Are we trying to avoid house dissections this bad that we're making episodes like this?
Maybe we can do a drunk movie review.
Ooh, we haven't done one. I think we promised one a year and a half ago, but never did it.
Yeah, I don't think we ever will like that. But
I mean, we never said we'd release it, but
yeah, I do it. Episode 1, we said that we pitched that to our fans.
We just said we had plans. That's all.
We promised them, and we still have not done it.
Plenty of time.
Yeah, I think after that, I realized I was allergic to alcohol, and I only can drink it in small portions. And to actually get drunk enough to make that a fun show would make me sick for a week. So
Well, maybe we should use something else to make it fun.
Okay.
He's talking about heroin.
I think
Kneel up, boys.
tripping movie reviews.
Shoe Nate movie reviews.
All right, let's end this episode. People have turned off as soon as Nico tried to pitch. So there's basically only two people. Well, thank you so much for listening. All right. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, go ahead and leave us a voicemail at 407-906-3405. I know there's some that we definitely left off the list, like the Quiet Place, Get Out, those types of
Dr.
things.
Zhivago.
Yeah, they're. Oh yeah, for sure. Dr. Vizak.
Also, leave a voicemail if you never want to hear us do this again. Thank you.
I can't wait to get bullied on Twitter for another week.
Oh, last week was bad for you, friend.
Yeah.
What? Nico got bullied on Twitter?
Oh, you got dragged on Twitter.
I got dragged on Twitter last week.
In the story.
Someone literally rejoiced that he had to go through that pain because he always trashes killer clowns.
Friend of the program, Timmy. I did see that.
Oh, it was magical. Magical.
Yes.
And yeah, that was Timmy's tweet. I couldn't remember who tweeted that one, but yes, that one was Timmy.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you in the streets.